Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chub. Here today we're going to discuss Star Wars, from the Mandalorian to the holiday special. I'm Evan.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Jeremy.
Emma.
Really? You're going to do that?
Shut up.
Rick Tamlin. Weather.
So first we're going to discuss what we discuss what we just watched.
You didn't even have anything to drink.
The holiday special. It's because I'm delirious from the holiday special.
I can understand that.
If you've never done
That's why I
drugs.
needed some drink.
If you've never experienced insanity or lucid dreams, this is the thing to watch.
It's truly a sight to behold.
There was a lot of lens flares, a lot of flashy images.
Well,
There's a lot of this. There's a lot of.
let's just start from the beginning. I mean,
Let's start at the beginning.
per
reuse
George
stock
Lucas's request.
Oh yeah.
Enter Chewbacca's entire family. Enter horny grandpa and his little shit of a kid, who I'm sure he tried to walk out on.
That's Chewbacca's little.
They
shit.
named him
That's what I'm
after.
saying.
They named him after the shit that Chewbacca took after he was born. Lumpy.
Lumpy, yes, his name was Lumpy because we went from Chewbacca to Lumpy.
Yeah.
And do you know the dad's name?
No.
Itchy.
Oh, that's right.
Itchy.
I forgot.
Itchy, Lumpy, Mala, and Chewbacca?
Yeah, so apparently Mala, Itchy, and Lumpy are based off of their official Wookiee names, so that totally, gets rid of your theory.
That flies in the face of what Jeremy said.
Earlier, he said, because I asked why Luke and Han keep referring to him as Chewbacca instead of just Chewie like they do in, the movie, but...
Oh, because I said it was out of respect to the Wookiees. I was just
Yes.
bullshitting.
I think you made that up.
I
couldn't
did make
tell
that up.
because you know more about Star Wars than I do.
That's why
and
it
I
worked.
didn't know if that was like canon.
Yeah, no,
Star Wars canon is a mess.
But here's the thing: I can write better canon off of the fly than they came up with for this bullshit.
Well, but you weren't on cocaine at the time you wrote.
Yeah,
I
so
was
here's
just drunk.
Here's a couple trivia facts about the Star Wars Holiday Special, outside of the obvious, in which it's bad. It was once listed in the biggest mistakes in TV history as the biggest waste of 2 hours in television history. It was a George Lucas brainchild. I don't know if there was some discretion about that. I said it screamed George Lucas, but he's not the writer or the director. However, we found out that he influenced it regardless, which surprised no one. No one was surprised.
There's a scene in this special
Oh, boy.
where the grandpa gets access to a VR machine and he watches a black lady with feathers for hair sing and talk sexually to him.
It was softcore porn, and it was intentional.
Yes.
Per the writer.
It was kind of like watching a... You ever seen those, like, they're called JOI
Yeah,
porns?
jerk off instruction. I'm familiar.
Is that what that means?
Oh,
I
yeah,
never-
yeah.
I
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about,
never-
yeah.
I see that title, I'm like, this is an acronym, I don't know what it is.
Joy.
But she was like telling him how she
I'm
finds
receiving
him,
your message.
how
Are
she
you
finds him
receiving
adorable.
mine?
Yep.
Oh, you're so adorable.
And he's like shaking
Yeah,
in the
he kept
chair.
replaying me, it's so adorable.
He's quivering with hornitude.
Hornitude?
Yes.
That's why he's called Itchies, because he's got an itch for
Didn't
masturbation.
he have a huge underbite?
Yes. Me.
It would go like all the way up here.
I'm trying to think what it resembles, but I can't even think of it.
Gremlins?
Something. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's Gremlins, yeah.
But they don't even look like... He doesn't even look like a Wookiee. He looks like...
No, he doesn't. He looked nothing like a
He
Wookiee.
looks like a
Abominable
fucking hairy
Snowman.
turd, literally.
Looks like
yeah,
a Wampa.
the Abominable
Yes.
Snowman from Rudolph.
He looked like a Wampa mixed with the Abominable Snowman
Yeah.
from that Rudolph claymation thing.
Yeah.
Which is a
But like
lot
a
better
shitty
Christmas
version.
special.
Yeah,
There
that is
were-
a lot better.
There were a lot of psychedelic visual effects and way too many musical numbers.
Yeah, there's like 5 basically.
Carrie Fisher has a musical number.
That was the best part.
So what do they do it to? What do they
B.
do the
Arthur.
song to?
Oh, it was
Star Wars. It was
theme.
set to the Star Wars theme from A New Hope.
It was the lyrics
ever so loosely
that they added to the
Yes.
theme for A New Hope.
You can tell this was pretty early on in Carrie Fisher's cocaine addiction.
Oh boy, there might have been something else involved too.
Yeah, well, I mean, the writer did admit to being on drugs during the writing process.
Heavily influenced by cocaine.
What kind
Heavily
of drugs?
influenced by cocaine. Yes,
Just cocaine.
just cocaine. I'm gonna guess. Okay, cocaine is what he admitted to.
And
But
maybe,
there's definitely some
Yeah.
dashes of LSD.
Yeah, he probably had an acid dip cigarette to go along with it.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
I don't think it's that outlandish, right, Paul? Looks at the invisible monkey. in the corner.
Yeah.
I like how you have your Chewbacca water.
Yeah,
It's
my
very appropriate.
Patented Chewbacca cup sponsored.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where we got our first YouTube strike.
Not sponsored. That's a joke, YouTube. Sorry.
Sponsored, but really not sponsored. Emma, what did you think of the holiday special?
I give it a 2 out of 10.
That's what, isn't that what
That's
IMDb
not
gave
what
it?
we rate things here.
We're not rating yet.
Yeah, it's a little
Well,
too
to be
soon.
fair, a girl can't really rate on the Chub scale.
I disagree. We're gender neutral here.
Yeah.
Are you assuming
Women
my
can
gender?
get chubs.
Yes. It would be more of a moisture scale.
No, that's the moist meter critical already patented that
Can't
you
do that.
can't use that.
It's already patented.
Yeah, the moisture meter, yeah.
The top of the scale is WAP.
The cream gene effect.
No.
Quit wiping your hands on the table. We're gonna get some feedback there.
While watching it, I had to look away because it made me like trip out. Like I was like,
It's like a
I
fever
was like,
dream.
what the fuck?
It was hard to like keep your eyes on the screen
Yeah.
for long periods of time.
It's literally
It started
like a
making me
fever
feel
dream.
weird. I was like,
Especially-
okay.
It's very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The musical numbers were a big issue, I think. Like, they went on way too long. They were fully fleshed out songs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which
it was weird.
Music in general was a problem. The score was bad.
Oh.
The score was so bad. They had in one of the earliest scenes, they need to tell this little shit that he needs something to do. So they insert a virtual hologram circus.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
The
Cirque
Cirque
du
du
Soleil.
Soleil.
And they
Yeah.
played the same clip of the guy
Cirque
over
du
Yes,
Star
and
Wars.
it's this awful, like probably worse than Blade Runner synth. Like on a loop.
Yeah.
It sounded awful. Just straight up terrible. But it was accompanied by what you could tell was a live orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
So you had synthesizer and then like IRL violins.
Well,
next
that's the
to it.
thing. Like,
And that just did not mesh.
it almost was like they did all this stuff live. Like, they did a lot of this stuff.
It feels like they
All
threw
at
it together
once,
and
yeah.
just kind of ran it. It very much feels like a play. Like, even the way that people like interact with actors interact with each other throughout the thing. It feels very stage right, stage left, stage
Like, you
center.
can tell when they get to their mark, then they know they get to their mark, they say their dialogue, and
Exactly.
the camera pans in a janky angle.
And like even the one guy, the one who's the traitor, he had early on a part where he forgot his line.
Oh,
Yeah, the
and
thingamabob, the rinky-dink.
He improv halfway okay.
the whatchamacallit,
Yeah. It worked.
The proton battery.
It worked. He
Proton
got from
pack.
point A to point B, but like you could tell that there was no second take. It
There-
reminded me a lot of like if I had to think about how a second, third take would be that YouTube video of the old guy like in the commercial for like some restaurant, and he's supposed to say baked in a buttery flaky
Oh,
crisp.
yes.
But like they do like 30 takes
Baked
of
in the
it.
bake.
And this dude
Yeah.
just cannot say it. That's what it felt like.
Didn't you say Harrison Ford in the beginning was like not having
Yes,
it? Like, when they-
Harrison Ford did not want to do this, but he was convinced otherwise, which is why he sounds like he wants no part of it.
There's a
'Cause
shot, the last shot of him in this special. He's just like,
You are very important to me. Hug.
He knew what fucking sucked. He
disperse.
was like, this is terrible.
I can see my life flashing before my eyes.
Because Harrison Ford, for everything
tell
that
my
he's
nose is
worth,
gonna be
his
crooked.
like one
Next
downside
30
is he
years.
cannot hide how he's feeling about what's going on at all. He can't do it vocally. He can't do it with his face.
I don't necessarily think he's a good actor. I just think
I think
that
he's just hot. That's
charismatic,
why
and when he
he-
likes a project he's working on, you can tell.
Yeah. But when he doesn't like it, you can also tell.
But doesn't he kind of play almost the same person like every time? Like he kind of plays
Yeah,
that like
but
manly sort of like.
That's known about
He
him.
does.
Like,
I mean,
it's
like,
not-
because Indiana Jones and Han Solo are more or less the same character.
Right.
They're just...
Swashbuckling.
Well,
Yeah,
they were
but they're-
written by the
they're-
same guy, though.
They're
so that kinda
morally
makes sense.
driven differently. Like, because at the beginning of Star Wars, Han Solo is kind of a...
He's a mercenary.
He's a rapscallion, if you will.
Right.
Oh, okay. I'll permit it.
Okay, good. He's a rapscallion, if you will, whereas... You know, Indiana Jones is a rapscallion, but it's in the name of putting it in a museum.
It belongs
where
in a
belongs.
museum.
You know, it's very. He's not going in to steal stuff from these temples because he wants to sell it for money. He wants to do it in the name of educating people.
Yeah.
But
He's
I
like opposite Han Solo.
exactly. I digress. But at the end of the day, they're the macho man, stoic.
Yeah.
You know, macho adventurers. I almost said Avengers, but
Yeah, you don't remember Han Solo joined the Avengers and
well, yeah, because
Avengers 3.
Harrison Ford was recently cast to be in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah,
so-
right
Wait.
next to Hayden
he
Christensen
was
as
actually-
Anakin, and then
yeah, he
For
was
what?
recently
Yeah.
cast to be.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
Oh. Okay.
It's just every
Out of
other
the
actor.
loop.
Yes.
Out of
that's
the
there.
loop. That's just all rumors and whatnot. But
Yeah.
anyways, the Star Wars Holiday Special. I think it's time for a Chub
Yep,
review.
left a lot to be desired. I'm going to be honest. Just for the memes, I will be watching this every Christmas.
You say that
Every Christmas.
You say
You're
that.
actually gonna watch it.
I will watch
I
it.
It's
don't
so
think you
bad.
will.
There's no fucking
I
way.
will. I
There's
will.
no way.
I couldn't.
So next
watch it
time
so
I'm gonna wait. I'm
I
gonna do it
think-
on a Saturday.
I
I'm just
think-
gonna get
Yeah.
fucking just blitzed.
I think without the drugs that this writer used, you cannot enjoy this. Because I don't even think he enjoyed it while he was writing. I think he was
No.
having a fever dream because of ODing almost on
He's like,
cocaine.
I just gotta
Yeah.
get this done.
Yeah. He's like, there's a child, and he makes noises, and we
child?
zoom in on his face a lot when he's.
Can we see him build a transmitter antenna?
His
Yeah.
name is Lumpy, and he somehow fools the Empire into thinking that they need to go back to
Yeah, he
base.
tricks the whole Empire because if the original trilogy taught us anything, it's that stormtroopers just don't have brains
Yeah. So this
or
whole
depth perception.
this whole special was just an abomination. I give it I give it 0 Chub. I want to cut off my Chub if I would have one.
I will also give it a negative Chub. Mine is shriveled up and
It is just
I'm
it's
gonna-
embarrassing. It is a farce.
it gave me a
Of Star
raisin in my
Wars.
pants.
It is
A pants
I'm
raisin.
gonna give it a full-on castration and a circumcision without anesthesia.
Fair.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
That
gonna
is-
suck.
that
We're gonna
is-
take care of you for weeks after that.
That is fucked up.
What is this scale?
The Chub scale.
Well,
It's
the
loose.
Chub scale is
Like my pussy.
is a scale in which we use
Okay, I
Did
got
it make
no,
you-
no, no,
did
I
it
got
make
it, I
you
got
feel-
it, I got it. No, I have
Or
it.
did
I
it make
have
you feel?
That's when you clip in the slide whistle.
I don't need to. You just did a really good one.
You really gotta think
How
about this.
stiff? How stiff did it make you?
Think about this. Does it excite you in any way, shape, or form?
No.
Okay,
I
so
had
then
to
no
look away
Chub.
from it. Yeah,
No
no
Chub.
Chub.
No
No
Chub.
Chub. It went back up into like having ovaries.
The Council
Oh.
of Chub.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
the penis does not become the ovaries.
Yes,
No,
it
but
does.
you
In
do
this case, it
have
does.
the chromosomes you have at first.
It's
Like
when
Yes,
your
but the
balls
penis-
go up
that's
inside
why
of
that's
you.
why you have
Turn me
nipples
into a
because
clitoris.
no.
Ain't that
No,
big ass
no, no.
red dog?
No, because the ovaries are like opposite balls. Like that's what
right.
they are.
They're just like
So it just went into having ovaries instead because it was so bad.
it's like when you
You-
like just
your
try your best.
genitalia changed.
Yeah.
You changed into a woman because
Yeah,
the movie
you
was so
changed.
bad.
Oh, I don't. No.
This conversation in no way, shape, or form represents the thoughts or ideas of this podcast.
All right. So yeah, Star Wars Holiday Special. Make sure you watch it every Christmas. Is a classic.
Happy
Only
Life Day.
Only to be seen while on so much eggnog you can't see straight.
Wait, are we gonna do a drip of the day? So like he has a shark Christmas sweater on.
Drip,
No.
don't quit. Represent. Empire
forgot my
did nothing
Christmas
wrong.
merch.
Uh-oh. That's like saying that Nazis did nothing
Oh.
No.
Uh-oh.
This conversation in no way, shape, or form represents the thoughts or ideas.
On to the next topic. We've discussed the worst of Star Wars at this point thus far. Now we discuss the best of Star Wars.
Arguably the best. I feel like the so we're talking about the Mandalorian, obviously.
Season 2
and
finale.
from here on out, spoilers.
Yes.
We're not going to dance around this. This is a spoiler cast, spoiler discussion.
Yes.
Everything that happened in the Mandalorian season 2 and season 1.
Just kind of up to date where things are going.
Jabba the Hutt lives.
No, he doesn't. Shut up. So we're at this point in the Mandalorian. Just a brief recap. We got the Mandalorian himself. Who does he have a name?
Din Djarin.
Din Djarin. That's what I thought. But it's like when you look at him on IMDb, he's only cast as the Mandalorian, which is weird. So the Mandalorian has this quest where he's got Baby Yoda, who we now know has the name of Grogu. And he has to save him from the Empire, who wants his blood. So Empire, more like vampire. Am I right? And back.
And we're
okay.
back.
So
The camera has moved.
the sidebar, yeah.
The camera has moved.
This is going to be a fun little cut. Mid-episode.
Anybody that's going to be tripped out, it's almost like you're watching Star Wars The Holiday Special. So
Yes.
Someone get that phone out of there.
It's fine.
No.
Alright, bossy. You're in for one episode. And you're like, cut!
She's the new
First
producer.
of all, I recommended moving
You're a
the table.
fucking embarrassment.
Alright, so
She's the studio executive.
yes, CEO and the E stands for Emma.
Uh-huh.
So we got
stands for
Chief
Chub.
Emma Officer. Chub Emma Officer.
Chub, Emma,
Orgasm.
offender.
I liked mine better.
Alright. So we got the Mandalorian. We got the Mandalorian who's trying to transport Baby Yoda or Grogu to wherever he needs to go. You know, at first it's not really that defined. It's just keep him from getting got. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much season 1. You got some other stuff sprinkled in there. The first 2 seasons are kind of like an expose of all the other Star Wars things.
I have a question.
Do. Yes.
Is he wearing a potato sack? Yes or no?
Who? Yoda?
Mm-hmm.
It's Grogu,
It's
motherfucker.
It's Grogu.
It's burlap.
It's burlap, and it's the same kind of thing that Yoda wears in
Star Wars.
Not necessarily like the prequel trilogy, but definitely Dagobah Yoda.
Yes.
Total burlap.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you could say
Okay.
that potato sacks are made out of burlap if
Okay.
you wanted to go down that
That's
route.
what I thought.
But I put
I wouldn't.
potatoes in burlap sacks, so what does that mean? Is that cannibalism?
No,
Let's
Anyway,
move on.
Wait,
Let's
yeah,
move on.
yeah.
What the fuck?
Anyway,
Yeah, that made no sense.
so we get a lot of new character introduction. We got what's her name, Cara Dune.
Yeah.
My favorite character, personally.
Yes, we'll get there. Cara Dune. We have Mayfield. No, he's in season 2.
Yeah, he's in both.
He's in both.
Yes.
Bill Burr's Mayfield.
Bill Burr.
Yes,
Mhm.
Bill Burr.
Mhm.
Bill Burr is just an interesting dude.
Mm-hmm.
He plays himself. He plays himself.
I thought he
That's
was a
what
great
it is.
addition.
He is awesome addition.
And season 3 is going to do a stand-up routine for everybody.
he's gonna have a job entertaining ex-Empire.
Yes.
So yeah, so different characters. So season 1 is pretty good. It's a good season. Doesn't really go anywhere.
It introduces a really good story.
It
though.
does. It is definitely a foundational season. It's a good pilot season.
It's reestablishing Star Wars as a watchable.
Yes.
It is.
as
It
a
does,
watchable IP.
It does a really good job of kind of saying this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. These are the characters we're going to use, and this is their conflict. This is what's going on.
And this is the way.
This is the way.
And
Absolutely.
this is the way.
It doesn't go out of line. It doesn't try to do too many characters. I don't think.
No.
That's a problem that the sequel trilogy had. I think is
It's
they
a
tried
slow reintroduction to good Star Wars.
It is.
Does what the sequel trilogy should have done.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's also a great way, I think, to introduce Star Wars to live-action television.
Absolutely.
And canonize a lot of stuff that
Correct.
was used in animated canon.
So we get to season 2, and this is really where the action heats up. We have the introduction in our season 1. This is definitely the rising action slash conflict of the entire series thus far, because pretty early on in the season we run into who? Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
That's about halfway through, I think.
Fett first, right?
No.
Or the armor.
Yeah, so we get...
Yes, the armor.
That's the first episode.
First episode, you see the armor.
Very first episode, the Mandalorian's on Tatooine, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this, mining settlement.
Called Mos Pelgo.
Exactly. And there's a marshal, or is he a sheriff?
He's a marshal. It's actually called the Marshal.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So the marshal has this familiar set of armor that I think you'll all recognize as Boba Fett's armor. Looks beat to shit. I mean,
it looks a fair representation, I think, of Boba Fett's armor from Return of the Jedi.
It is, but you can tell it's definitely been in the stomach of a Sarlacc.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's got a couple dents in it.
But it's also faded. It's all scratched and dinged, across the board. And basically, the Mandalorian makes a deal with this marshal. I'll help the settlement kill this Alaskan bullworm.
No, it's a crate dragon.
Way cooler than an Alaskan bullworm.
I said what I said.
Listen, crate dragons are deeply entombed in Star Wars lore. We finally get to see one in action.
Fine. So the Mandalorian
awesome.
The Mandalorian basically goes full Witcher for an episode and is I gotta kill this monster. And he said, "What do you want, monster?" And anyway, so
thank you for that.
So in exchange for helping the mining settlement and getting
the Tusken Raiders
and getting Tusken Raiders, sand people.
Can't call them that.
Yeah, that's racist. You can't call them sand people.
So they get the sand people. He gets the sand people on board to help them. Kind of a quid pro quo thing.
Yeah.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. And in return, the Mandalorian is gifted Boba Fett's armor because it's Beskar. It belongs to the Mandalorian people, and he wants to, keep that. Bring it back to where it goes. Well, fun fact, the owner of said Mandalorian Beskar armor is not dissolving in the stomach of
a
Sarlacc. He is indeed alive and well.
Which
and
I
bald.
did not.
Tatooine.
I did not notice that scene.
Oh
I don't know if
that
was
flew over your head for weeks.
It flew over my head, and I didn't notice it.
So in the episode, in the same episode, there's a very end cutscene where you just see this. I don't know.
Is it after the credits?
No, it's pre-credits.
No, it's right at the very end.
It's the very thing. It's the camera's panning out over a Tatooine.
Yeah, you see the Mando on his swoop bike gliding away, and then the camera pulls back, and then there's this bald dude with the Tusken Raider. He's got a gaffy stick on him and shit.
Yes.
And he's just walking. He's like, "Oh, what's that?"
He's just kind of.
He turns the camera. He's like, "That's right. I'm Tamara Morrison as Boba Fett.
That's right.
And I'm bald now."
You recognize him, but they don't come out and say this is Boba Fett.
Thank God for that.
They don't say it.
Yeah.
They don't say it right off the bat. So
they didn't say, Evan, this is an important Star Wars character. You got to pay attention.
Listen, bro, I don't even think I was looking at the screen. Otherwise, I'd have been like, "That's Tamara Morrison."
They allude to it very briefly, which was good. They sprinkled it on top. So then, next episode is the Ahsoka episode. Yeah?
No, it's not. The next episode is the Ice Planet episode.
Oh, that pointless piece of shit.
Yeah, that was not. I won't even talk about it. They go to New Hoth. And then the Rogue Squadron helps him, and that's that. Surprise. Okay, next episode. Oh, and there are spiders.
Yeah, those were...
Grogu.
It's literally...
awful. He was eating babies.
It's literally the Skyrim
Grogu
ice
was
spider,
eating
winter
eggs.
spiders. Oh yeah, there's a gecko, and it has eggs. And
That was the best part of the
frog
episode.
lady.
Skip that episode.
That was the best
Grogu's
part of the
hungry.
episode.
Anyway.
It was just a throwaway episode.
It was.
Just a
I like
the
time.
next
They just had to get it out of the way.
The next episode is, in fact, the episode in which we see a very popular...
It actually isn't, because then he goes back
for
to...
fuck's sake.
He goes back and he actually meets the Mandalorian.
He meets Carl
Oh,
Weathers.
yeah. So there's the Bo-Katan episode.
Yeah, that's the one after the ice episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because his ship is all fucked up and he has to go.
Yeah, he has to get it repaired. So he meets
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan and the Mandalorians.
Fair. Okay. So he meets some new Mandalorians.
And he helps them attack an Imperial transport.
And in exchange, what did they do in exchange? I forget. Because every episode...
Let's talk about what he was trying to help them get. Bo-Katan was hunting for info on the Darksaber.
Yes.
Which is in possession of Moff Gideon.
Yes.
No, Moff Gideon is in possession of the Darksaber.
that
was an English error.
I meant to say in the possession of.
That would have been correct.
He's in the Moff Gideon is in the possession of the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan wants it.
Yes. But why does she want it?
She wants it so she can have the Mandalorian throne.
Well, it's a symbol of power for the Mandalorian people, and she wants it to reunite
because it was taken from her.
It was taken from the Mandalorian.
Taken from the Mandalorian.
Exactly, but there's a specific.
But it was also taken.
But there's she can't just go pickpocket this dude.
No, you have to fight them, and whoever wins gets the Darksaber.
But first they have to find him, and they don't know where the hell he is.
That's right. He's currently MIA. We've seen him on screen a couple times. But overall, I mean, he hasn't been important in the season up to that point so far.
So far.
No, yeah, so far. That shit picks up way later.
So the Mandalorian helps the Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm.
And then is the next episode the Ahsoka episode?
No, it's not.
Are you sure?
I promise, because after that, he's like, I need to recruit some old friends. So then he goes back. I can't, for the life of me, remember the name of the plane, but he goes back to meet Carl Weathers and Cara Dune. And he's like, okay, well, I can help you out, but you gotta help me blow up this Imperial base that for some reason we left behind in season 1.
That was after the Ahsoka Tano
No,
episode.
it was not.
No, because there are two different episodes in which they infiltrate an Imperial base. The first one is in an abandoned mining base. Yeah. And he goes there with Bo-Katan, but Cara Dune and Carl Weathers like character.
Yeah, Carl Weathers actually directed that episode.
He did, and it was a very good episode.
Yeah, I liked that.
It was an awesome episode.
There was a guy in the back though. In the back with his jeans and a t-shirt on.
There was.
He was an extra.
Oh, that was like for 1 second.
I mean, they digitized
they'll CGI.
They already did.
Yeah.
It was like the Star Wars or Starbucks cup or whatever.
But this was an important episode because in the mining base, they find information that basically kind of alludes to what the Empire is trying to, or the remains of the Empire, I should say, is trying to do with the child or
bless you.
You know, use his blood for what we believe to be a replicant process.
Yeah, they're going to turn him into Roy Batty from Blade Runner.
Yes.
Call back.
So they were basically using Grogu's blood to replicate somebody, but it's unknown who at this point.
Spoiler:
give him a
the
wicked
Emperor.
Transfusion.
I don't know that we can say that for sure yet. What if it's something cooler?
Oh, I would hope it's something cooler.
I would think it's something cooler.
Because the Emperor coming back was the lamest part of Rise of Skywalker.
It was the lamest part of the Star Wars saga.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We did just watch the Christmas special.
That's not part of the Star Wars saga.
It is canon.
No, it's not.
It was canon. It was canon.
For like 10 years, sure.
Oh, even that amount of time.
78 to 88, yeah. It was a dark time in Star Wars.
So really the whole point of that episode was to introduce that piece of information and to get Cara Dune essentially back on board as a helper lead.
Well, and the New Republic pilot was saying like, "Hey, we could use your help.
Oh yeah,
here's a Marshal badge."
They name dropped. They basically sneak peek Easter egg the announcement of Rogue Squadron. That was
no. The Rangers of the Republic.
That one.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Not Rogue Squadron.
Whatever.
I don't want to talk about Rogue Squadron. I'm very bitter in my heart, so we're not going to talk about it. We're not talking about it.
There have been
we're not talking about
it. Let me talk, dude.
No, we got to move on from this.
There have been several Star Wars show and movie announcements, I believe. One of them being Rangers of the New Republic, which is supposed to feature Cara Dune as one of the main characters. I believe it's supposed to be like a group dynamic.
Yes.
I think she's
an
gonna
ensemble
have
cast.
Yeah, like an ensemble cast, like 4 or so characters that are going to be like main.
But it appears as though she's going to be prevalent.
Yes,
unfortunately. So anyway, back to the Mandalorian. So next episode, are we there yet, Jeremy? Can I say your name?
Yes.
Okay. So now we get to the episode in which a very popular character from the Clone Wars cartoon is finally brought to light.
Whose live action makeup looks fucking amazing.
Absolutely everything about what they did with her. Ahsoka Tano. She's
triumphantly
alive.
returns.
She's alive and well with white lightsabers.
Oh yeah,
White sabers, if you
Those
will.
I think
the
they're
effects on that
silver,
look fucking
but
amazing,
whatever.
bro.
They did. So
It's kinda hard to
opening
illustrate
scene,
silver.
you basically got what? You got some bad guys out in the woods.
Out in the woods.
Yeah, she's
being-
hunting them down,
being looked
picking 'em
at
off
by
one
a
one.
bad guy who has a Beskar spear. Fun fact, little known fact.
Yeah.
Little known fact.
Yes, little known fact. It is as announced a Beskar spear.
As seen on TV.
So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like they're just looking out. You got all the bad guys in the woods, and they just start dropping. Why do they start dropping?
Can we have the whole frame?
Yeah.
Are you done?
Why
Okay.
do they?
Sorry, I wanna fucking spread out a little bit.
So Ahsoka Tano comes out through the woods and she starts slicing them boys up, slicing and dicing, if you will. She got 2 of them shits per as it should be, and she's gutting them like fish.
Yeah, see, she has her regular lightsaber, and then she has her short lightsaber, which is called a shoto. More you know.
Sure. So that sounds kind of like the Japanese samurai like suicide blade. But anyway, so
Sure.
she gets up to the wall that's being overlooked by what appears to be a not very nice lady with a Beskar spear, and basically implies that this lady has information that Ahsoka is looking for, but they don't know what. And Ahsoka basically tells them, "You got 2 days to figure it out."
No, she says tomorrow.
Whatever. You got 24 hours to figure it out.
Well, we don't know what the day-night cycle is on that planet. It could be 36 hours. We don't know.
That's true.
Basically, you have one solar day to come to a decision.
not happy with your
when the
correcting.
sun rises next.
She has one rotation of the current planet that they are on in order to get the information.
They are not this specific in the show, by the way.
In the meantime, the Mandalorian found out from Bo-Katan that Grogu needs to be, or Grogu, who we don't know is Grogu yet.
Dude, I'm
stop.
sorry.
The
I didn't know
child-
your foot was there.
The child needs to be taken to a Jedi.
No, we knew that already, but Bo-Katan told Mando where a
Whatever.
Jedi could be found.
Bo-Katan told Mando to go find Ahsoka Tano and gave him the location. And
Per the information that Bo-Katan gave to the Mandalorian, that is how he arrived on the planet in which Ahsoka Tano is also on. Are we clear on that? Okay.
yes.
So, Mandalorian's out looking, and of course, Ahsoka Tano engages combat. Or did the Mandalorian engage combat? Which one was it, Jeremy? Who shot first?
Han shot first. No, so Mando was like,
McClunky.
"Hey, damn you, damn you straight to hell." He's looking like, "Hey, I'm looking for the Jedi," and then she shows up and she's like, "Hey," and then she, pulls out her lightsabers. He's like, "Hey, I just want to talk." And then so she hits him, but it doesn't do anything because he's wearing full Beskar.
He said, Beskar.
Yeah. And then he's like, "I just want to talk, bitch." And she's
Yes,
like, "Well,
that's actually the line of dialogue
Yes,
in this TV
And she's
show.
like, "Well, I hope it's about that guy." And she points to Baby Yoda, who we don't know his real name yet.
Who just looks like to her like little Yoda.
Yes.
So
She's like, I know this
she's
dude.
very interested in learning who the fuck that kid is.
She always
So-
had. No, never mind. Go ahead.
So they disengage in combat,
Don't you?
and they disengage in combat, and Ahsoka sits down with the child, and they start force talking. They start communicating.
mind mending.
No, that's a Star Trek thing. You don't say that.
telepathy, if you will.
Sure, we can go with that. That's a generalized
Telepathy,
term.
if you will. And she finds out that the child's name is now Grogu.
That's right.
Yep. But I wish they would have stuck with the Y format.
I'm glad they broke format.
That's okay.
It's cool for this to break format.
Yes, so you got-
I'm fine with it.
You got Grogu.
We could also
and-
find out that he's not one of Yoda's kind, which is why they didn't stick to the Y format.
I doubt.
I mean,
I doubt that.
It could just be like a replicant of him.
Are-
much. Maybe that's why.
in Blade Runner.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why they want Grogu so bad. It's because he's a clone of Yoda.
Well, it's actually
But they don't want
because-
Grogu. They just want Grogu's blood.
It's because
That's why they want his blood, because he's a clone.
No, you don't understand. Deckard is a replicant of Han Solo.
Anyway, back to this week's movie / discussion. Ooh. We have, so... God damn
Can
it.
you do all the fucking sound effects for our podcast, please, and just have a soundboard?
It's me and the mic just going... doo-doo-doo-doo.
I just want a soundboard of Isaac doing really shitty sound effects.
It's my role.
I'm the shitty
Jamie, can
sound
you pull it
effects
up
guy.
for us?
So, God damn it. Yeah, Jamie, can you pull that right up? Just pull it up. Jamie,
Jamie, pull-ups are for big boys.
So what does Ahsoka Tano tell the Mandalorian? Same thing that Yoda actually initially says about Anakin, way back in the day.
An Anakin.
A bananakin.
Napkins.
You've got too much feelings in you.
Fear.
We must fuck the feelings out of you.
Fear, yes. She said he's filled with too much fear. She saw it once before in her master, and she was not going to train him for fear of what might happen, which seems kind of counterintuitive to the whole avoiding fear thing.
Yeah. I'm not going to train you how to handle your fear. I'm just going to let you deal with it.
Because I'm scared of your fear. I'm fearful of your fear.
What's going to happen is the same thing that happened to Bablanikins.
Bablanikins? Blainable?
Yeah.
What's going to happen is the same thing that happened with Anakin. And I'm not going to do anything to stop that. Yeah. So you're going to find another person who can train him.
Yep. So Ahsoka...
To be fair, Ahsoka at this point isn't technically a Jedi. She left the Order and never came back.
Yeah, but
she is trained in the ways of the Jedi.
She is,
It still makes it a bit
counterintuitive. Given the circumstances
to
of the Jedi and that they were all eradicated,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like for all intents and purposes, she should basically be called.
If I may invoke samurai terminology, she's more like a Ronin.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I get that. That's kind of how I feel like the Jedi are.
Yeah. Oh,
viewed
absolutely.
At this point in the Mandalorian, in how they've been portrayed in the 2 episodes we've seen them in, they were very much like a Ronin and a samurai in order.
So Ahsoka tells the Mandalorian that he's got to go to what's the Tython.
Yeah,
yes, got to take him to Tython.
I knew you'd get there eventually.
And I kept wanting to say typhus, and I was like, nope, that's a disease. So
I feel like it's probably also
got to take him to what's it called, the Seeing Stone.
Oh yeah.
And basically he would put out this Force beacon, and another Jedi would possibly answer that if there were any left. Because at this point, there aren't. It's not really known about who's left. Mm-hmm. It's not commonly known, at least. But Ahsoka needs his help first to basically get this bitch with the Beskar spear. If Mandalorian helps her, he will get the spear. Again, quid pro quo, as we see in pretty much every episode.
This is the way.
So they fight a bunch of people, blah blah blah, retake this city back, and there's a fight between Ahsoka and this bitch who's running the camp, and it's pretty cool because it's double lightsabers versus a Beskar spear. And it's probably one of the best on-screen sword fights we see in Star Wars up to this point.
Oh this season has some of the best
combat in general.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty cool. They fight a while. Of course, the girl trained in the way of the Jedi wins and says, give me the information. We finally find out what the information is. What does this bitch know that Ahsoka wants to know?
She wants to know where General Thrawn is.
Yes.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Grand Admiral Thrawn.
It's a naval rank,
Grand
not an
General
army rank.
Admiral Thrawn.
Yes. So that's interesting. We don't really see
Grand Wizard Thrawn.
Yeah. So
You're
basically, that's just as the last episode. That's a preview for Ahsoka's show.
Yeah, it's a backdoor pilot, if you will.
It is.
Yeah, that kind of works perfectly as a pilot.
It's a backdoor pilot.
It gives
for
enough
Ahsoka thing.
information to let everybody know where they're at without doing a whole. You're not gonna have to do a whole bullshit pilot episode.
We don't.
You can
have
jump
to pilot.
right into the story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool. I like that they did that.
Do a little recap of what happened in The Mandalorian and then fucking go right. Yeah, that'll work really well.
Yeah. So he gets the Beskar spear. He leaves. They head for Tython.
Oh,
I want to mention, though,
gives Mando the Beskar spear.
Yes. Michael Biehn is a guest actor in that episode. He was known for playing Kyle Reese in The Terminator.
Not Mr. Bean.
And Sergeant Hicks from Aliens.
Okay.
So he's a pretty well-known sci-fi actor.
He's that chick's right-hand man.
Gotcha. So, Tython, back at it. Or cameos.
Yeah, cameos.
Yeah.
So,
Next episode is...
They head for Tython. Yeah.
Tython.
They get there. All seems to go normal. Grogu sits on this boulder. It's not a rock. It's a boulder.
That is a nice boulder.
Exactly. That's a nice boulder. So...
Another one on the fucking soundboard, dude.
Grogu sits up on the rock. He gets up on a hickory stump and says, "Boy, let me tell you what." So he sits on the rock and he just goes full, like, you know, if you remember when Yoda used to do the floaty meditate thing.
Yeah, he
doesn't
that.
float though.
No,
he just shoots up.
He hasn't achieved Grand Wizard status yet.
No.
Don't say Grand Wizard.
No,
Can't be doing that.
No.
You said it first. Fuck you.
This conversation in no way, shape, or form represents the thoughts or opinions.
We're gonna just get that on a soundboard.
So big shooty light comes up and there's danger afoot because there's a ship coming, and
there's a few
ships.
Well, yeah, first ship is the Slave One.
Yes, that's true. The first one.
It destroys the Razor Crest.
No, it does not. You are a fucking liar.
It doesn't destroy the Razor Crest. That's the second ship.
No. Yes, let's just easy.
Did you just let him do his recap?
Slave One goes down. Slave One, you know,
it has a nice landing. It gracefully
comes
glides
across
to the
horizon,
surface.
and Mando immediately says, like, "Yo, that ain't fucking right," and tries to go grab Grogu. Mando doesn't really know shit about the Force, so of course he tries to reach into this Force beacon and just gets blasted away.
Yeah.
And then he
straight
tries
up
it several more times.
knocks the ass out. Yes, tries again, but at this point we got two more ships coming, both containing stormtroopers. So the Imperial forces have found where Grogu's at, and they're coming for his ass. So
how did they find them?
Because of the Razor Crest. There was a tracking beacon that was placed on it when they were at the place where they met the other Mandalorians.
When they repaired his ship. The guy who repaired his ship.
Proud of you for remembering that.
Put a beacon
I remember
on
it because there was a dude who was weird looking. He called Moff Tarkin or Moff Gideon, and it was like.
What did he call him? It wasn't anything offensive.
Has been placed.
Yes, you're right.
Yes. So Mando's trying to shoot his way out, but it's pretty clear that it's like 40 on 1.
Yeah.
And even though stormtroopers have notoriously bad aim, it just ain't gonna work.
Yeah.
So who comes to the rescue?
Bloated Foot.
He was a little bloated.
He was a bloated foot, but none other than
Boba
Fett and Fennec.
Fennec,
who we see in a previous episode, is a super deadly bounty hunter.
Whomst we last seen was left for dead.
Whomst we saw
we last saw
death
was had a big hole in her stomach.
Yeah, she definitely got capped. A bitch got capped, and that was that. So, but then Boba Fett saves her. They go and they're fighting stormtroopers. But Boba Fett's after something that isn't stormtroopers, and that is his armor.
The Mandalorian armor.
Not Mando's Mandalorian armor, but Boba's Mandalorian armor.
Yes.
So
armor.
this comes with the coolest sequence in the entire series thus far. So you got Billy. Yeah, I know. You got Billy Club Manda or Billy Club Boba.
Yeah.
Who's just like bashing skulls left and right. It's cool as shit. And mid-battle, he just kind of disappears.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, that's not right. So then you see him come out of the sky in full Boba Fett armor. Granted, a little tightly fitted.
I want to talk about that for a second. He looks so goofy in that fucking armor, dude, because he's bloated and it just doesn't look right. And the robe,
but it works.
The robe combo doesn't look right, but I'll let it slide because he's old.
But considering he just threw it on in the middle, it's not like I think it'll get better.
He wasn't working out in that desert.
Moving forward. So
no, he had time to work out in Tatooine, bro.
You get this sequence of revived Boba Fett coming and blasting bitches with his OG armor. It's cool as fuck. They fight off all the stormtroopers, but when the stormtroopers start to flee, what do? They blow up the shippy boy.
Yeah, Boba Fett puts his
Razor Crest.
Well, no. So Boba Fett puts his rocket pack to use.
That's right.
And he blows up both of the transports, even though he didn't mean to. And that was cool as fuck.
I think he did mean to. I think he meant to hit the one and knock it in.
No, that was definitely...
he specifically says, I was aiming for the other one.
Right.
Yeah. He goes,
okay,
nice shot, dude. Well, yeah, so anyway, like you said, though, the Imperial Cruiser, it does him dirty. He blows up the Razor Crest.
Right.
And then they do a really cool tribute to deep Star Wars lore of old. They bring out the Dark Troopers.
They do. And the Dark Troopers come down out the sky. They snatch up Grogu, who is fatigued from using the Force, and blast the ass up to the ship. Just straight up zooted.
Grab his ass.
Zooted up.
And they try and chase him, and they can't do anything. So Grogu is now in the hands of the remnants of the Empire.
Yes, they can. They did.
Yes.
And on to the next episode.
Next episode,
the triumphant return of Mayfield.
Yes, Mayfield returns from a concentration camp, a labor camp, essentially.
Yeah.
It's exactly what it was. Cara Dune comes, gets the ass, says, I got a job for you. You're going to be working with the Mandalorian. Mayfield's like, yo, fuck that guy. He's the reason I'm here to begin with, but, it's either that or spend your life in a labor camp.
Yeah,
so.
He's like, I guess I could miss a few exciting days of this junkyard.
Yeah.
They give Mayfield a bit of a backstory. He was
former stormtrooper.
Worked as a stormtrooper.
Technically, we already knew that, but keep going.
And they show his commanding officer.
Yeah.
And he's played by a guy who always plays a creepy guy in everything he's in.
You see Mando take his helmet off.
Mando takes his helmet off to scan his eye for... They're trying to get info for...
He needs access to the database to find out where Moff Gideon is.
Correct.
And it requires a facial scan to do so.
And so Mayfield sees Mando's face, and they're sitting at the table with ex-commanding officer of Mayfield.
Correct.
Because he creepily asks them, because he's suspicious of them, because they're in an Imperial mining base, and he's a bit suspicious. He calls them over, says, "Hey, troopers, come here and have a drink with me. Let's celebrate your transport getting back all by itself."
Oh, because they were the only ones who actually got back.
They were the only ones who got back because they had to hijack an Imperial mining transport and almost got murdered. And then, so they're sitting at the table, having a drink with their commanding officer. He gets a bit suspect, and Mayfield is having some flashbacks to what that general made him do, or that commanding officer made him do.
And then he Han Solos his ass.
And he shot first into that guy's face. And that causes a big firefight inside of the Imperial mining base.
They get out.
They get out, and they have sniper cover.
From Boba Fett and Fennec.
Boba Fett, Fennec, and Cara Dune.
Yeah.
With cleaned up armor that looks just clean as shit.
Yeah, that's the first time
you
see the cleaned up armor.
It's painted like matte OG colors. It's clean.
It looks good. It looks good.
Drip don't quit.
And Mayfield, because he helped out the Mandalorian and Cara Dune, he gets his sentence reduced to nothing.
Yeah, they basically just let him go.
They let him go.
It's a shame he died. Go on now, Bill Burr. Go do some stand-up for the Empire.
And then, on to the next episode?
The last episode.
Yes, the finale. Grand finale.
Which we're going to be able to spend about 5 minutes talking about, unfortunately.
Speed run. Okay. All right. So pew 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 pew, ksh, ksh, and then then got me, and then you cannot have this.
Yeah.
You did not beat me in combat.
Yeah.
And then
I'm visualizing this right now. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. You're doing good.
Yep. And then we got some Rock'em Sock'em robots. So we got that, and then the Rock'em Sock'em robots get sucked into the vacuum of space, but then go all Leia Skywalker, Leia Organa on her ass, and they just right back into the ship.
Except that makes sense because they have jetpacks and they're robots.
Shut up. So then, they get fought off again by none of. So they're approaching the door.
Okay, hold on.
No,
shouldn't we just do a little bit more backstory?
We don't have time for more backstory.
We can do a little bit.
Okay, so Mando gets Bo-Katan to help him out, and so you got Bo-Katan and her lieutenant, and you got Boba Fett, and Fennec,
yes,
and Cara Dune.
Yes,
and they're all doing the same thing. Their one objective is to get the child back.
But they're headed toward the bridge.
Bo-Katan's mission is to get
she needs
the
the
Darksaber from Moff Gideon.
But surprise, Mando actually encounters Moff Gideon first.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they duel it out. You know, Beskar Spear versus Darksaber. Xiu. It gets tight on several on several occasions, but Mando comes out victorious with the Beskar Spear, takes the Darksaber, gets the child, takes Moff Gideon prisoner, and they head for the bridge where they're supposed to meet the rest of the gang. Of Cara Dune, the Mandalorians. That's it. Because Boba Fett and
Fennec is part of that too. Yeah.
Fennec is part of that?
Yeah.
I thought she left with Boba Fett.
No, Boba Fett left, but Fennec was part of the strike team.
Okay, so strike team meets in the bridge. They lock all the doors, but guess who just got back to the ship? It's the fucking Dark Troopers. So this is when they go even more rock'em sock'em robots because they can't get through the blast doors, so they all just punch it repeatedly. Mm-hmm. And then out of nowhere, through the space vision window, the windshield, if you will, you see a lone X-Wing fly into the hangar bay. And Cara Dune says, "Oh great, one X-Wing, you know?
We're saved.
But you get a little bit of a tingly feeling because, like, who would be appearing in a single X-Wing? You know, the options are pretty limited. You could say, oh, it's the Rogue Squadron guys, or
one of them.
But there were two of them traditionally. So why would only?
No, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Rogue Squadron can't hurt you, Jeremy.
Rogue Squadron is not real. It cannot hurt you.
I only wish that was true.
Shit lips.
God damn it.
So single X-Wing comes in, and everybody's just kind of like frozen with fear. The Rock'em Sock'em robot Dark Troopers are still punching away, and on the camera you see a dark hooded figure, which is starting to look a little bit more familiar, right? And then out comes a green lightsaber.
And you know.
You know right away. And he slices and dices them Rock'em Sock'em robots.
He gives them the business.
He gives them the business.
What is one of the best and most satisfying sequences of all time.
Yes.
Best representation of Jedi combat.
It is. It's very clean. It's
fluid. It's fluid.
It's not hyper choreographed to the point where it's obvious, like Revenge of the Sith lightsaber combat.
It's not 60 lightsabers hitting each other doing that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't sound like it's shitty scabbing.
It's like a samurai. It's a katana movement.
It is. Yeah. It's very clean, but he does it completely robed, so you still don't see his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he fights off the last of the Dark Troopers, and then he's basically standing at the blast doors, and they have to make the decision: do we let him in, or is this just a bad idea waiting to happen?
And
Grogu's like pointing at the screen, like
he's like, let him in.
He's cool, you know.
Let this boy in.
I feel him, and so they let him in, and you know, reminiscent of Return of the Jedi, the dark figure removes his robe. I'm a Jedi like my father before me. None other than Luke Skywalker.
Anakin Skywalker.
No.
In Spider-Man 3.
And it's contrary to popular belief, for a cameo, it was a CGI'd version, de-aged version of Mark Hamill.
It was tastefully done.
Yes, it was.
It was tastefully done. It was the only iteration of Luke that would have been acceptable to appear in this timeline.
It should not be done extensively.
And also, it should not be done again because there were certain parts of it where I got the Uncanny Valley feeling about it because certain parts of the lighting were off on his face and the way he moved his mouth was a little weird.
But it was
they did a very good job. It was the best de-aged cameo, I think. It was better than Tarkin. It was better than Leia.
And it was better than recasting him.
It was better than recasting him. I had to watch it 3 times to kind of accept that that's what it was, and I just had to accept that. Because I thought it looked weird at the beginning, just when he would talk. But anyways, it was Luke.
But it worked.
Happy day.
It worked. He comes and he says, I'll train Grogu, which kind of implies that's him. That's probably one of his earliest students at this point.
It could be.
Not necessarily maybe the first, but one of the earlier ones.
I think there's a great possibility that after a certain point in his training, he decides to go find Mando again. Mm-hmm. So maybe in season 3 the child isn't there, but maybe season 4 or 5 later on down the road he comes back and he's better and he has the little baby Yoda Mandalorian suit on.
That's right. Fucking talk. And not sound like a baby.
But
Please don't sound like a baby.
But he talks in Yoda speak.
Yeah, he has to talk in Yoda speak.
So
wait, do you think Luke trains him to talk like Yoda?
You're not saying it right.
No. He could probably talk to Yoda's Force Ghost.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
Oh, we're gonna get a Yoda Force Ghost?
Well, I don't know if that's possible because you got to be pretty strongly trained in the Force to get that. So I don't know that.
Well, he is a Yoda guy and
a Yoda guy. A Yoda.
We don't know.
A Yoda.
We don't know what their species is called.
So we get to the end. It's pretty cool. I thought Grogu and R2-D2 had a cool little interaction.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a nice little gesture. Typical smart-ass R2 little shit.
Yeah.
So,
and a surprisingly touching moment when Mando hands off the child to Luke because he knows that that's where the child belongs.
But you can see the hurt in his eyes.
Yeah, he takes off his helmet.
Yes.
And it was a really great character moment for Mando. There was so much character growth in just that one action, I thought, so bravo.
Oh, yeah, you look at the first episode of the first season to this episode now, it's like, dude, he's done. He's gone through so much and changed
it's crazy.
So much.
Bravo to Jon Favreau.
He's a human, I guess, now.
So looking forward, I guess it can be assumed that, Grogu's probably out of the storyline for a minute. I would assume, unless they do a time warp thing
for at least a solid season,
which I don't see them doing.
We skipped over a portion. Mando is now in possession of the Darksaber because he bested Moff Gideon in combat and then spared his life.
And he can't just give it to Bo-Katan.
Unfortunately, he can't just give it to Bo-Katan. So now it seems like they're setting up that Bo-Katan is going to be kind of a reluctant enemy.
Moving forward, it very much feels like the focus of the plot is going to be on the revitalization of the Mandalorian culture.
Between Mandalorians and the Mandalorian.
And I don't think that Bo-Katan will be an enemy necessarily, but she will be
a frenemy.
Yes, she will be a reluctant...
I'm curious to see how they're going to work this out, because she really was not having it. She did not want to take that...
Well maybe it's about overcoming that... the Mandalorian,
That's what I'm thinking, changing the way that things work, because
if you remember, Bo-Katan kind of already implied to Mandalorian that the way needed to be adjusted a little bit, so it could be like a reverse lesson, like you told me this needed to change, so maybe this does too.
So, I don't know if you are familiar with Lord of the Rings at all, but Aragorn was the rightful heir to Gondor, and he was the only one who could wield the sword, which was called Narsil, and then when it was reforged, it became Anduril. He was the only one who could do that. He was the only one who could take that symbol of power and unite his people and defeat the darkness. Well, Mando is kind of like Aragorn in the sense that he now has that power, but just like Aragorn, he does not want that power.
I don't want it.
I think now he can decide, when he gets all of the Mandalorians together, and they say, well, we challenge you for the right of, being leader or whatever. And then they'll say, this is the way. And he says, no, this is not the way. And I think we'll lead together.
And Moff Gideon is going to still be the prime bad guy and the remains of the Imperial Army, because they got what they wanted out of Grogu.
Yeah, they did.
But I don't think that Moff Gideon is going to just give up.
They have to explore that further.
Yes. It'll be interesting.
Because he said that they got what he wanted from the child, which...
Yep.
Clone blood. Grogu's a clone.
I don't think he's a clone.
Man, I don't want to think about Yoda fucking, though.
Who says it was Yoda's kid?
It was either Yoda or Yaddle.
There could be a whole planet hidden in some nebula in the outer rim of all sorts of Yoda people,
That's going on the board,
Damn
dude.
it.
That's going on the board.
And then let's not forget the very end after the credits roll.
Post
After the credits.
credit scene.
Ooh, baby! The book of Boba Fett.
Boba Fett goes back to the Hutt cartel's headquarters and takes out
Jabba's
the leader.
palace.
Jabba's palace, you uncultured swine.
It's the cartel's headquarters.
You
bro.
shut your
It's
ugly
not a
their fucking
cartel. They're
headquarters.
You were uglier
Bro,
than a
what? They were
Rancor's taint.
a Hutt cartel, bro.
They were.
They literally say it in Solo, a Star Wars story.
It's different.
It's different. It's not canon.
No, it's just different.
That is absolutely
It's
canon.
canon. It's just different. It's different.
The Hutt mob.
Yep. So
The leader of the Hutt mob, he kills him.
is what's his name?
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna, and
He's a fat bastard
Bib
now.
Fortuna is played by George Lucas himself because he's
Not
got
even looks
he's
like
got
him.
the big old
He
gobbler.
looks like him.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll give you a lifetime
Well,
supply
yeah.
of McDonald's.
Fun fact: George
if you-
Lucas also played the leader of the I keep wanting to say Gengar people, but Gungan people.
The Gungans.
The
He did not
Gungan.
play boss names.
Yes.
He did have a cameo role in Revenge of the Sith as Baron Papanoida. He was blue. He looked like a Smurf. He looked like Papa fucking
Good.
Smurf.
That's
Yep.
all he deserves to look like.
So Boba
Fucker.
Fett comes and offs this guy
Brainchild.
and just kind of sits on the
Special.
throne where Jabba the Hutt would have sat.
Well, Jabba didn't really have a throne. He had a slab. I'm sorry. He was a fucking slug.
Yeah.
He kills him. He sits there, and it cuts to the Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021.
The next series on Disney Plus.
Yep, they just announced a bunch of other stuff for the future of Star Wars. Go give it a go. Give it a check. If
Which
you
it was
will.
nice that they didn't announce the Book of Boba Fett and allowed for that to be announced to
Yes.
everybody at the end of The Mandalorian. That was very cool.
They're going full Marvel on
I'm
this bitch.
surprised they did that because when have they ever been good at keeping secrets?
That's right. But they did it. But
they did it, and I'm excited.
But that's it. That's the Mandalorian.
It's The Mandalorian.
That's season 4.
That's the end of season 1.
That's the end of season 2.
That's the end of
That's right.
season 2.
Some of the best Star Wars ever to be on screen.
Absolutely.
After some of the worst, or well, I guess before some of the worst Star Wars we had ever seen in our life, the special.
Ooh.
Today has been a very Star Wars holiday, a very chubby Christmas.
A very chubby Christmas.
And happy life day to you.
Have a chubby wubby Christmas.
Merry Christmas. May all your chubs come true.
Come true.
Now this is podcasting.
Yes.
That needs
we'll
to
see
be the
you guys-
conclusion every time. Now this is podcast.
We'll see you guys next
Yes.
time on the Blade Runner 2049 episode, right?
Yes.
Full chubs ahead.
Thanks for listening.
Chub out.
See you next time.